What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Art of Crypto, the birthplace of absolutely legendary gains. In this video, I'm going to talk about Litecoin and why I believe that this one level is probably going to give you like the biggest returns that you might get from Litecoin in a while. But if we do lose that level, then it's going to be pretty dangerous. So if you're interested to find out more about what this level is, stick around to the end of this video and I'll teach you how you can take advantage of all of this. Before I dive right into it though, if you haven't already followed me on Twitter at _theartofcrypto, this is where I'm sharing like market updates as well as what do you do with the positions that I called in YouTube. Because for example, I made a Chainlink video yesterday suggesting that $20 would be a good bottom for Chainlink. And right now, I'm updating on Twitter that, hey, that might not be the case. So if you just want the latest market updates as well as any trades that I'm going to be sharing, for example, this one on Neo, follow me on the Twitter at _theartofcrypto. So before we take a look at Litecoin against USD, it pays to take a look at the Bitcoin chart first, because Bitcoin is sort of like the mama bear, and it's always good to gauge what is the altcoin's performance against Bitcoin. So in this case, you can see that Litecoin at the moment is very close to the all-time low against the Bitcoin, which means that if more often than not, right, the odds are that we are going to try to hold this level. And if we do, then this is going to give us some of the best risk to reward ratio. And I don't get why TradingView does this. If any of you know why this thing just goes negative 200%, which is impossible. If you guys know how to fix this, that would be great. But otherwise, this gives us an immensely good risk to reward ratio of a 7% stop loss, right? A 95 risk to reward ratio, basically, right? Targeting this level right here. And don't worry, I'll translate this over to USD terms later. But for now, let's focus on, this Litecoin BTC chart. So in the event that you do get back to this level, which is at about 3,050, give or take Satoshis, that's going to be a really good entry to get some Litecoin. As for the targets, that is the target right there at 24,000 Satoshis. Will we get there? As long as we hold this level, absolutely, I believe we will get there, right? That's a 7x from this entry right here. And just to read out some of the take profit points that I would personally pay attention to, it's going to be at, let's go back to Litecoin. Oh no, we were at Litecoin BTC. So looking at Litecoin BTC, right, the take profit targets that I personally would focus on would be at 4480 Satoshis, right? 6680, 6,700 Satoshis, give or take, right? Let's move this slightly above because I plotted that level a bit wrongly. So 6,900 Satoshis, that's going to be TP2, 8,000 Satoshis as TP3, right here at about 10,800 Satoshis, that's going to be TP number 4. And again, use these levels as reference levels. So when it comes to taking profit, I always take my profit in partials. So maybe I'll take 25% here, I'll take 25% here, and I'll take 25% here, and maybe I'll take the rest here, right? Just as an example, take it in partials. That's how the best traders do it. Just like how when they're dollar cost averaging into a position, you don't just buy one lump sum over here. What you do instead is you buy some here, you buy some here, and you buy some here, right? You average out the position. Same thing for taking profit. You don't take it just, oh, it hit here. All right, let's take it, everything out. Let's go. And then it continues to do like a 2x, 3x. And you're sitting there wondering, why did you take your profit so early? So this is how I approach profit taking. And I highly recommend you guys to learn the way of taking profits in partials. So the next TP point is going to be at 17,000 Satoshis, right? 17,700 Satoshis. And finally, at the top, I'm going to take it at 24,000 Satoshis, right? So use these as reference points. But to be honest, all of these white lines that I've just drawn here, these are good TP targets as well. Feel free to pause the video and mark this down on your own chart because I'm already giving you the exact targets. And if you can't even be bothered to mark them down, there's nothing more that I can do for you. So in order to translate this over to the USD chart, back then in the BTC chart, we are about a couple percentage points away from the all-time low. To be precise, it's between a 6% to 10% range from the all-time low against Bitcoin. So we translate this over to the USDT chart. At most, we should only drop to about, give or take, $115 to give or take $105, right? Honestly, do I believe that we will drop even lower than this? I think so, right? We might wick just a tiny bit lower to 94 points, right? So let me draw this out. I think the bottom for Litecoin is going to come in somewhere between at about $95 to $86, right? And I know this doesn't line up with the BTC chart. Again, bear with me here. When it comes to the USDT chart, you can see that on the weekly chart, right? On the weekly, this right here is a bullish order block. And for those of you who don't understand what are bullish order blocks, it's my method of, well, I didn't invent it, right? I learned it from someone, but it's a method where you use to snipe exact bottoms for coins. And that is how you are able to catch like the precise level. This is how I'm able to call bottoms, and then it just starts pumping from there, right? The way you spot a bullish order block is the last the last bearish candle before a massive move upwards. So this is an order block right here. And to be precise, if you want to be precise, this would be the order block. But now I'm just using the entire zone right here as a zone of demand in order to plot this out. So the thing about these zones is they give you very precise targets, precise areas rather, to place your orders. For example, over here, you tapped into the zone of demand and then you start dumping, right? Sorry, this is a zone of supply. So this is, in other words, a bearish order block. So this is bullish, this is bearish. And this applies on every time frame, not just the weekly, although I'm looking at the weekly because this will give you a clearer picture of, how things are looking like. And the thing to understand about order blocks is that by definition, they are simply untapped areas of liquidity. The markets move based on liquidity. The markets move because of market makers, okay? I know that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of you, but the sooner you understand that 80% of daily trading volume comes from institutional traders, as well as their algorithms and bots, the better, because then you'll be able to start trading with these institutional traders instead of against them. So they like to bring prices back to zones of, well, to retail, right? To retail, which is me and you and everyone who's not well versed in the terminologies of the market maker. We would call these demand zones. Sorry, would be a supply zone and this would be a demand zone, right? But for those more well versed in the terminologies, then this would be a bullish order block. And they like to bring prices back to order blocks in order to mitigate their positions. Because unlike retail traders, where we just look at a chart, okay, I'm long here and then I'll short here. That's not how it works for most hedge funds and institutional traders, as well as the algorithms. For them, they have complex, sort of calculations and algorithms to calculate, how much is, like, they're basically long and short at the same time, right? And so imagine if you were shorting here, right? Eventually you would need to bring the price back down to here in order to, mitigate your losses and to cover your positions and to, potentially cycle back into longs again, right? This is just a really simple method to visualize this for you guys. And that's why it's so important to understand this market maker, theory and ideology and everything. So based on this ideology or theory, if we come back to this area, which is between $95 to $86, right? Let me just bring this up just a tiny bit, right? So $87.5, right? Between these two zones right here, that's when I'm going to be the most interested to get into Litecoin, basically. And I do believe that this area between 95 to 85, that's where the bottom is going to be. But of course, that doesn't line up with the BTC chart. So later, I'm going to bring up an order flow chart. Actually, before I do, let me just take a look if I can find an order flow chart for Litecoin. Okay, sadly, I was not able to bring up an order flow chart so that we can take a look at the naked pointer controls as well as the, the UFAs, the unfinished auctions. Sadly, I'm not able to, but when I am able to pull up a order flow chart, I'm going to share it on Twitter. So make sure you follow me on my Twitter if you want to see an explanation of that. So we'll make do with this. Okay, this is what you call a volume profile, and it's not something I would like to rely on, but it does help a lot in illustrating what I'm talking about with all this liquidity stuff for you guys who are not, which I would assume who are not well versed in the terminologies of the market maker. So you can see that there is a very, very noticeable gap in liquidity here, right here. You can see this, right? This is an area where price is going to be attracted to in order to fill in the imbalance. And then right down here, right at about 105 to give or take $111, that's where you see volume start to pick up again. So this makes you believe that this is going to be an area of strong support. So in the event, which lines up with our previous theory about Litecoin Bitcoin, right? If it drops to about $110 or 111, that's going to be a 12% drop, which lines up with the LTCBTC theory. So if you do get back to this zone right here at about 112, right, give or take 112, that's going to be a good zone to start buying into Litecoin. But otherwise, if you want to catch the exact bottom, look at how much volume starts picking up between 95 to 85. If you do get back to here, absolutely, please place a couple of orders at these couple of levels in order to take advantage of a bottom snipe, right? Once you start filling in these orders, bam, 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 and off to the races you go. So it would be wise for you to time your take profits. Now, as much as I can give you the exact targets in terms of USD, because if you just draw, for example, if you just draw a fib from that high right there to that low right there, but you know, if we do fill in these lower orders, then this fib is going to be rendered, you know, irrelevant. So it would benefit you if you timed your take profits with LTCBTC, right? Basically, what you do is when Litecoin Bitcoin, let's say this is your TP, right, at 7,000 Satoshis. Once it hits this point, you just go back to your USD chart for those of you who don't trade against Bitcoin. And maybe at that point, it might be at, give or take, let's say $233, right? When, you know, against Bitcoin, you hit that TP. So this is where you TP against USD. And yep, you can totally do that. I see a lot of confusion, especially from beginner traders who wonder if you can just translate it over to a USD chart, and absolutely you can. So for those of you who want to take your trading game up to the next level, I'm just going to plug this in here, right? If you just want the latest market updates, as well as just my full explanation on what days are good to trade, you know, how do you trade, the best methodologies for trading, you know, if you just want to learn all of that stuff, as well as figure out like when's a good day to be trading in it, you know, etc., as well as follow along with all of my trades that I'm calling, where we're pretty much making money every single day. So let's just say it's probably going to pay itself off really quickly. So if that's something you're interested in, check out the link in the description below. It's not going to be for everyone. It's only for really serious people who just want the ideal community to start growing, start learning the proper way. And at the moment, I'm even working on making a new iteration of the trading course to be like just the best iteration of any trading course in the entire market. So you know, stay tuned for that. But yeah, for those of you who are interested, check it out. As for the rest of you, you know, I like to give you guys bonuses for sticking around to the end of the video. So in this case, pay attention to this one right here. This is Rose USD in my private group. I called this cop and handle right here, and we traded that for a very, very juicy profit of almost 200%. But in the event that you do retest this trend line right here, which I believe I drew it on, yeah. So if you do retest this trend line, which is give or take between, let's say if it drops all the way down here, it will be between $0.36 to, give or take, $0.35. And again, this is where the order block comes in. If you do get back to this area, that is a good zone where the institutions are mitigating their risk, right? And switching, right? Perhaps switching the order flow to target a higher target. So if you do get back to here, just draw this trend line out and you'll be set, right? Just buy, you know, that's going to be a good zone to buy into. As for the take profit target, it's going to be at 0.45, 0.59, and 0.69. In the event that you get to 0.69, I will be taking all of my profit right there. For example, if something like this happens, I'm taking my entire bag and running. No matter what price you got in at Rose, I believe that after you hit this level, you are going to go into a severe, very severe drawdown, potentially back to 0.23, which is not unheard of for many altcoins out there, because the money, like people don't, like, it's not about the tech, okay? It's about what the market makers are trying to do and where they're bringing the order flow. In this case, I do believe we will come back down to this area right here at between 30 cents to 25 cents to mitigate their risk. And yeah, this is just typical market maker, like a three phase. You get the idea, right? After that, you're going to see let's come back down here. We're going to come back down here, right? And then we're going to go one last leg down before starting another accumulation phase and going upwards. At least that's what I think. So if you stuck around to the end of this video, please comment down in the comment section, Rose, so that, you know, just support this video a little bit. It's a really small gesture, but really helps out the YouTube algorithm a lot. So if you do that, you know, thank you so much. But for now, may the gains be with you, and peace.